So for very many years, these ones have not been regulated, and they are now becoming a major source of concern for environmentalists, and so that's why we are focusing on their elimination from the environment. My name is Cyrus Njeru, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Bayreuth in Germany, where I'm focusing on the role of bioremediation of micropollutants in aquatic systems. So microbiology is quite a broad field. It has very many areas of focus. In nature, there are a lot of microorganisms, but the focus of my project is really to identify the specific degraders of specific micropollutants that are of importance in the environment at the moment. And so we have this problem currently that is affecting the aquatic systems, where we have micropollutants reaching aquatic systems like rivers from the wastewater treatment plants, and there is no other natural way to remove them from these ecosystems apart from relying on the nature itself. And there is no better driver of these processes than microorganisms. That's why it is important to focus on what role microorganisms play, particularly in the hyperrheic zone of rivers, in attenuation of these micropollutants. I'm focusing on a category of micropollutants that we call the emerging micropollutants. The name emerging it's a policy word because these micropollutants have been there for a while, but there are more micropollutants that are not really regulated. A very good example is pharmaceutical and personal care products that normally bypass the wastewater treatment plants from households because no one controls how much drug you flush down the toilets or how much of cosmetics you flush. So somehow they find themselves into the rivers, and so for very many years these ones have not been regulated, and they are now becoming a major source of concern for environmentalists, and so that's why we are focusing on their elimination from the environment. So my project is more on this category of micropollutants that we call the pharmaceutical and personal care products. The microorganisms, for them, it's just a very natural process that they're just gaining energy by consuming it as a carbon source, basically. We really need to understand how they play this role, especially in their bioremediation networks. Microorganisms normally utilize different metabolic pathways. Depending on what metabolic pathways they have, then some are able to perform, others cannot. Actually, in some cases, the micropollutants are toxic to most of the microorganisms. It's only very unique, specific microorganisms that have the capability to really degrade micropollutants.